Hello class, so I just wanted to go over with you some of the student examples, and these student examples can provide inspiration and also give you a better idea what to do in the project. So here's the first example, and this dimetric ritual looks like making tea. Okay, I see that there's some type of tea case here, something that holds tea, some sugar, some hot water, and really wonderful development of value here in describing these reflective surfaces. And this student went more for a heavier use of blending, and it's up to you if you want to do that. You don't have to use a lot of blending, but you can if you want. So here's another example, and it looks like this student left some of the charcoal texture, and that's okay, you could do that too. And the domestic ritual here looks to be the process of ironing. Okay, so there's an iron, and here's some starch. And I really love how these cast shadows are framing these objects. Okay, we got another domestic ritual, and this one looks to be taking out one's contacts. And I really love how the glasses look in this composition, how dark they are relative to the other objects. Okay, here's another domestic ritual, and honestly, I'm not sure what this one is. So if you know, please let me know. But I do like the composition. I like these lines that are basically repeated. Okay, so we get the line of the board is kind of repeated in some way with the line of this machine. Okay, and the line of the table. There's some rhythm going on there. Here's another domestic ritual, and this one looks to be doing one's hair. Okay, we got a straightening iron. Okay, and I really love how the white of the reflecting iron looks. It's the only thing that's completely white in this whole composition. Really close attention to value here. Well, besides the highlight, this is the only thing that's completely white. Okay, here's another domestic ritual. This one looks to be applying one's makeup. Really enjoy the composition here. A lot of movement. I also like the close attention to edges. Really, so you look at the fine modulation of the edge within the shadow. How this one's a little bit softer right here, and it goes a little harder on the other side. Close attention to edges. Okay, this domestic ritual looks like getting ready in the morning. Okay, interesting composition here. This one looks to be. This domestic ritual looks to be making espresso or coffee in the morning. I'm really interested in the shadows that are created. They become forms on their own. Okay, here's another one of making coffee. Really close attention to the reflective properties of this cup here. And I really like this development of the background. I like how they didn't overwork it. It's really excellent here. There's a lot of confidence coming through in their development of lights and shadows. Okay, I'm not sure what this domestic ritual is, but maybe the person works with these types of tools on a daily basis. Okay, another similar one. And this one has a really interesting composition. I like these lines that are created and how they intersect with each other. Okay, and this one's really awesome. I really like how the shape of the table, reflects the shape of the dinosaur. And I also like how they left some of the gesture of the marks present. I can see some of the marks coming through. That's okay. So in this project, you can leave some of the marks present. Okay, you could go for more of a approach that shows marks like this, or if you want, you could blend out more, as in this drawing. That's your choice. But I really like this composition, and I also like, what's represented here, which is watering a plant. Okay, this one has a really beautiful composition. I love the negative space that's created, such as these spaces, and also the movement that's created between the edges of the objects. So I'm not sure what the domestic ritual is here. I'm assuming that the person works on woodwind instruments. I want you really to look at the detail up here. This is really excellent. And you have to really pick and choose your details. Not everything has to be detailed. Choose what you would want to emphasize with the detail. So this domestic ritual looks like playing video games. So there's a controller, some cookies, some soda, okay, all placed on this table. Okay, here's another one that has to do with playing video games. And I really like how they went up close on this one. Okay, so this domestic ritual looks like just picking up the items that they use in the morning. I really like how they drew the background on the cell phone. It's really interesting. This domestic ritual looks like the process of cooking. And I think this one is similar. Okay, chopping up is it bell pepper to be used in cooking. This one's involved in cooking too. I really like this board with the lines. It's really interesting. And the development of the reflection on this bowl is really interesting as well. This one's involved in cooking too. Here's an interesting composition here. The way these lines intersect. Create a lot of movement. I really like this one and how all the objects are kind of in a similar, all the objects had a similar local value. They're all very light, which creates this very light and airy drawing. There is, a couple things that are darker, such as this item and this one, but most of the items are quite light. Here's another domestic ritual, and this one looks like walking the dog. Okay, looks like there's a snack that's involved in bribing the dog, and then or rewarding the dog. There's a collar, and then there's a leash. This domestic ritual looks like putting on one's makeup. I'm just not sure actually where the lighter comes in, but it does add an aura of mystery to this. I really like the reflection that's captured here. Here's another example of somebody that depicted the process of putting on makeup. Really fine attention to edges. Look how sharp these edges are. Excellent work here. So this domestic ritual looks like the process of cutting hair and shaving. This domestic ritual looks like the process of reading cards. Interesting composition here. And I like how the smoke from the incense is going up right here. And this development of this crystal is excellent. The texture that's developed here is great. So you really want to make sure that you develop the texture and surface qualities of your items. It's going to add some visual interest to what you're doing. And here's the last domestic ritual. This one's a little more humorous, or the process of using the restroom. Okay, so think closely. Think of some domestic rituals that you do, and consider how they can be placed in an interesting composition and made into a drawing.